Today's episode is brought to you by Subscribe. Subscribe to keep the channel alive. And don't forget to ring the bell. This is North Georgia Pete telling you, ring the bell! Hello and welcome back to the San Pedro Mountain Railroad. Today is cheap and quick and easy coal load day. I want to show you my method of making cheap, quick coal loads. You take a piece of foam, just any old foam, you carve it out, you spray paint it, and the spray paint actually eats into the foam and creates this texture, which is similar to coal. Very cheap, easy way of doing it. If you got 100 coal cars, it might come in handy. Now the other day, I was watching Ken Patterson and the What's Neat show, and a guy named Jason Quinn was on there, and he had a similar method where he poured some kind of granular stuff. I think it was something for sandblasting or something, but I found this at the dollar store for $1 called Sand Sable. It's a decorative kind of sand for pots or something, but I'm going to give it a try here. I'm going to make a hybrid method, sort of my method and Jason Quinn's method mixed together, and we're going to see if we can come up with a cheap, easy coal load that's really looks good, that's over the top. So this is what I've been doing, but I'm going to try a little bit of both here. Alright, so I've grabbed a piece of cheap foam just out of some packing. You don't want to spend any money on this, but you want some decent foam, some decent density. You don't want it too loose. And I'm going to grab my wife's steak knife. Thanks, honey. Thanks for the steak knife. You won't be watching, I know, so I'm going to use it. And I'm going to trace this out and carve it very carefully. It's fairly easy. It's just like carving a piece of wood, more or less. And you just whittle it down little by little. It's making a big mess, but I'm used to big messes when it comes to foam. You live by foam, you die by foam, so I'll be having foam pellets on me when I'm dead and buried. And I got this one out, looks pretty good. And you just take it and fit it to your car. Kind of finesse it. Figure out which side, flip it around, figure out which goes in better. And too big is always better to start with, because you're going to be whittling it down to fit perfectly. So if it's a little bit too big, no problemo. You just trace it out and start carving it down. Getting this one to fit is a little tricky because you have these rails on the inside, these structures. So what you want to do is just line them up. I think that's going to fit the best like that. And I'm going to mark on here where those are in general. Like I said, it's not a perfect science. It's all finesse. Mark it with your Sharpie. Take your wife's steak knife and carve them out. Be careful not to cut your hand off with your wife's steak knife. Then she'll really be mad. And once those are carved out, as you can see, it's real simple. Stick it back in there and see how it goes. So far so good. Now on these cars too, the inside edges have little angles to them, so I'm just going to cut the angles off each end very carefully. Take my time. And that looks pretty good. Now Jason used sand. He did a lot of sanding on his, but I prefer to carve. It's a lot less mess. There you go. So far, so good. Okay, now this is about as far as I want to go with the trimming on this. I want to keep it a little bit big, hanging over the edge a little bit, because when I apply the paint, the chemical process in the paint is going to eat away at the foam and it's going to make it shrink a bit. So you got to be prepared for that. And don't spray too much on the sides because it'll end up shrinking the sides a little bit. Okay, I'm going to bring this outside, and this is my paint booth. I'm going to start with flat black, and I'm going to put the flat black on first, and then I'm going to gently spray it real lightly and get it to come out of the can here. Lightly, there it goes. Lightly, lightly, lightly. Just a little bit at a time. When the coal comes out of the conveyor, it makes little gentle waves over the coal load. So I'm trying to achieve that a little bit. You can see it's starting to show a little waviness on the surface there. I want to hit it with the gloss black. Gloss black has a lacquer in it that'll definitely change the texture. As you can see, let me zoom in here a little bit. It's starting to bubble a little bit. So now I'm going to hit it again with a little flat black. And because I don't want it shining, so oops. Might want to tape this down. Trying to get a little bit on the sides, not too much, because I want to round those edges a little bit. And the chemicals will take care of that. See, eating away, gently eating away. Now I got a little bit too much right there. So that's why you want to be careful with this stuff. It's like acid eating away at it. But you get the picture. Quick, easy way. We'll let this dry for a little bit. And I'll add another coat of the flat black. And it'll give it a little bit of shininess, and you know, it's mostly flat, but coal does have shiny sides to it, so some of these edges will have a shine to it like a natural coal. And there you have the finished product. It didn't turn out as good as I liked. Probably do this one over. Some of the ones I did previously I had to do over, but you get the picture. We're going to do the Jason Quinn method. That should take care of all the imperfections you see here. It's going to be an interesting experiment, so stay tuned for the next video as we take all of these foams out and redo them with the Jason Quinn method, which is the decorative sand and some black glue. So that should be fun. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.